In this overview, we'll explore 8 primary types of hunting dogs and what makes each one truly unique, from hounds that vocalize as they follow a scent trail, to silent sprinters who capture prey with sheer speed, and fearless terriers diving underground. Consider this your guided tour into the world of hunting dogs. Scent hounds. What are they doing? Hounds by scent are nose experts. They use their incredible sense of smell to track a ground trail over long distances. During the chase, many of them give voice, meaning they bark or howl.
Right there.
There he is, right there at me. See, I've got that. Right.
This is called giving tongue, to let everyone know they're on the trail, and to allow the hunter to follow their progress. Imagine a dog shouting, "Over here! I've caught his scent," as it's running along. These breeds often have long, floppy ears and deep voices. They were used to hunt everything from foxes and raccoons to wild boars, depending on the subspecies. Scent hounds usually work at a more methodical pace compared to sight hounds, but they have the endurance to last all day and an obsession with following a scent. Subtypes of scent hounds. There are several specializations within this category, which differ mainly in what the dogs do after spotting the game. Bay dogs are hounds that keep the game at bay by barking. These dogs are used for hunting large or dangerous game, such as wild boar or puma, in teams. Their task is to corner the animal or keep it in place by circling around and barking, rather than physically attacking. Surrounding the animal and creating a deafening concert of barks and howls, bay dogs hold it in place and direct the hunter where to approach. The prey, stunned and scared by this noise, usually stays in place or at least keeps turning towards the noisy dogs. Hence the expression to keep at bay. Bay dogs do not catch the beast. This is the task of the next dogs, which we will consider later. Examples of breeds in this category are classic American coon hounds and cur dogs, such as black-mouth cur and Catahoula leopard dog, known as excellent bay dogs, for hunting wild boars in the United States. If you have ever heard a coonhound baying or giving chase, you know that it is certainly not quiet. Some hunters refer to this as the music of the hounds, but your apartment neighbors will most definitely not appreciate it. Treeing hounds. These hounds specialize in pursuing game that climbs trees, such as raccoons, lynx, or even pumas. The treehound follows the trail using its sense of smell, and when the prey climbs a tree, the dog changes its bark to a special tree bark, a continuous resonant signal, as if saying, "It's here, in the tree." The dog stays at the base of the tree, looks up, and barks continuously until the hunter arrives. The behavior inspired the English idiom, "barking up the wrong tree," which originally meant that a hound was barking at an empty tree while the prey had jumped to another one. In other words, it was mistaken about the location of the animal. Breeds like Treeing Walker Coonhound, Blue Tick Coonhound, and Plot Hound are excellent at this. In fact, their ability to tree is so important for these dogs that it's reflected in their names. If you ever go on a night hunt for raccoons in the southern United States, you'll see this. The hounds disappear into the dark woods, and then suddenly a distant bark rings out. They've treed a raccoon, time to go to the noise. These dogs turn the search for a hidden animal into a noisy game. And like bay dogs, treeing hounds have stamina and a voice. They will stand and talk to that animal in the tree for as long as it takes. You could say they're having a barking party in the tree until the hunter arrives. Scent hounds are dog detectives tracking a trail. Nose to the ground, a loud baying song. They're ideal for tracking game by scent across terrain. And if you don't mind some hunting music. At home, many are big softies. Think of sad-eyed bloodhounds or funny beagles, but remember, their vocal nature can also emerge from boredom. Many beagle owners can attest that these dogs can put on a concert for you, or the entire neighborhood whenever they please. So, scent hounds are incredible noses, loud voices, and hearts that live for the thrill of the chase. Catch dogs. What do they do? If bay dogs find and corner the animal, then catch dogs are the ones who make physical contact and hold large game when needed. They're usually strong, fearless, muscular dogs, trained to rush at a wild boar or other large animal that's been cornered and grab it, typically by the ear or snout for boars, to immobilize it. Basically, they act as captors, holding a resisting wild animal until the hunter comes to finish it off. It is a high-intensity and high-risk job. Therefore, catch dogs are almost always equipped with protective gear, such as chest plates and collars, to protect them from strikes by fangs or claws. One could say that a catch dog is a close combat specialist in a hunting team, or a bouncer who enters the fray when the situation gets heated. A typical wild boar hunt with bay dogs and catch dogs proceeds as follows. A pack of hounds locates and corners the wild boar, barking loudly to hold it in place. The boar, often an aggressive 200-pound mass of muscle and tusks, can fight to the death. Then the hunter releases one or two catch dogs. As soon as the catch dog approaches, it pounces on the boar, usually biting its ear, and literally hanging on with all its might. A good catch dog will not let go, no matter how much the boar struggles and tries to escape. This allows the hunter to safely approach from behind and finish off the boar with a knife or a firearm. It is an adrenaline-filled and dangerous activity for both the dog and the boar, but in some types of hunting, it is indispensable. Examples. A classic catch dog is the Dogo Argentino, a breed specially bred in Argentina for hunting boars and even pumas in packs. Dogo Argentinos are large, white, muscular dogs, known for their incredible courage and, quite surprisingly, their gentle tenderness towards people. Outside of their hunting mode, many of them are simply big, cuddly teddy bears. Another common catch dog is the American Bulldog, particularly its working and hunting lines. Historically, American Bulldogs in the southern United States earned a reputation as hog dogs, which were used for catching escaped pigs or for hunting wild boars. They have enough jaw strength and tenacity for this task. Various bull breeds and their mixes were also used as catch dogs, such as bull mastiffs, pit bulls, Catahoula bulldogs, and so on. Imagine a 99-pound Dogo Argentino with taut muscles, charging straight at an enraged boar. The bay dogs are retreating, while the Dogo leaps and clamps onto the wild boar's ear, effectively executing a WWE-style takedown maneuver. A truly good catch dog will not release its hold. She's bred and trained to hold on, even if the boar tries to gore her. It's tough work. No wonder some breeds of catch dogs are banned by law in certain countries. For example, the Dogo Argentino is banned in the United Kingdom and some other countries due to dangerous breed laws. It's always important to check local laws if you're considering such a dog. When it comes to character, catch dogs are generally very brave, tolerant of pain, and persistent. They absolutely require proper training and management. These are not the kind of dogs you can just let loose in the park for a walk. But in work, a pair of catch dogs can do something that a human never could. They are like fullbacks or linebackers in the world of hunting dogs. They charge into the target so the rest of the team can finish the job. And with their owners, many of them are absolute sweethearts. If you ever meet an American Bulldog or a Dogo Argentino, be ready for a big smile and, quite possibly, an attempt to sit right on your lap. Just remember, if you see one of these happy dogs grab a toy and absolutely refuse to let it go, now you'll know exactly where that comes from. Sight hounds. What are they doing? Sight hounds are fast hunters who rely on sight. Unlike scent hounds, these dogs primarily use their sharp vision to spot prey and their explosive speed to catch it. They excel in open country, where they can spot hares, gazelles, or foxes from a great distance. The moment they detect fleeing prey, they launch themselves forward, relying on pure speed and agility to overtake their target. While scent hounds hunt with a chorus of barks, sight hounds pursue their quarry in a mode of silent stealth. They are usually quiet, relying on surprise and a lightning-fast dash. Furthermore, many sight hounds don't bark during the chase. Their silence was key, bred for stealth hunts where loud noises could spook prey. You've probably seen images of galloping greyhounds. That gives an idea of their hunting zeal. Sighthounds have slender, streamlined bodies, deep chests housing large hearts and lungs, long legs, and very flexible spines. All this is essential for maximum speed. These dogs are true four-legged racing machines. For example, a greyhound can reach speeds of 40 to 45 miles per hour. Seleucus and other breeds specifically developed for endurance are able to maintain high speeds over considerable distances. Seleucus would hunt gazelles in the desert, a pursuit that demanded both exceptional speed and great stamina. These breeds have excellent vision, a broader field of view than many other dogs, for spotting movement on the horizon. Once they visually lock onto a target, turbo mode activates. How do they hunt? Classical sighthound hunting, or coursing, often involve the hunter driving game into an open area, then releasing one or more sighthounds to pursue it. For instance, traditional hare hunting in Old England. A hare was raised in the field, 2 greyhounds were released, and they chased it mainly guided by sight. The thrill for the hunter was in observing the chase and betting on the agility and speed of the dogs. In the Middle East, Seleucus, Persian greyhounds, chased after gazelles or desert hares, sometimes together with falcons. The falcon dove to slow the prey, while Seleucus gave chase. In Russia, Russian wolf hunting borzoi were used in pairs or threes to pursue and even capture wolves on the steppe. They would seize the wolf and hold it until the mounted hunters arrived. Now, that's a combination of courage and speed. Borzoi earned their aristocratic reputation through this kind of hunting for the Russian nobility. Examples. Among the well-known sighthounds are greyhound, Saluki, whippet, Russian borzoi, Afghan hound, Irish wolfhound, Scottish deerhound, and slowie. They all possess the typical sighthound physique and a powerful hunting drive. Whippets are miniature greyhounds, specifically bred in England for the purpose of hunting rabbits in fenced territories. Afghan hounds, despite their luxurious and flowing coat, were originally mountain hunters in Afghanistan, pursuing goats and deer across challenging and rugged terrain. Seleucus, one of the oldest known breeds, were highly valued in ancient Middle Eastern cultures for their ability to outrun gazelles. They are slightly leaner and sometimes even faster over long distances than greyhounds. And Russian borzoi, as mentioned earlier, were used for hunting wolves and foxes in the Russian steppes. Character and fun facts. Interestingly, sighthounds outside of hunting are usually very calm and even phlegmatic. There is a popular saying that retired greyhounds are couch potatoes that can speed up to 43.5 miles per hour. It's true. When not in chase mode, many sighthounds are relaxed, even lazy indoors, and love comfort. They are often quiet, some hardly ever bark, and can be a little aloof or quite cat-like in their nature. They are affectionate with their family, but usually not hyperactive or intrusive. In a way, they save all their energy for hunting. Don't be surprised if your greyhound or whippet sleeps 18 hours a day, then suddenly at the dog park bursts into a run at incredible speed, to everyone's delight, and then immediately goes back to napping. Another key characteristic is that, due to their very low body fat percentage and thin skin, sighthounds can be quite sensitive to cold and rough surfaces. They were bred for desert and steppe climates, or to live in warm kennels with straw, not for swamp marches. Therefore, many sighthound owners dress their pets in stylish sweaters in winter. A greyhound in fleece can be a true style icon. To sum it up, sighthounds are hunters known for their sharp vision and incredible speed. If you were to picture a cheetah in canine form, that's precisely what a sighthound is. They pursue and capture their prey by outrunning it, rather than exhausting it through scent or sound. As hunting partners, they are truly unmatched in their pursuit across open terrain. As domestic companions, they are typically gentle and surprisingly quite lazy. That is, until a squirrel in the yard makes the fatal mistake of moving. Then your dog will bolt from its spot, and with it perhaps your arm, if you're holding the leash. They embody a beautiful blend of nobility and athleticism. One moment majestic and stately, the next swift as lightning. If you ever get the chance to see coursing, a sport where sighthounds chase a mechanical hare, don't miss the chance to watch them. In action, it's true poetry in motion. And yes, if you get a sighthound, prepare yourself to hear the question over 500 times. Why is your dog so thin? Do you even feed her? You should know that this is how they are supposed to look. Gun dogs, hunting dogs for birds. When it comes to hunting birds, field game, and waterfowl, we enter the realm of gun dogs, also known as bird dogs, or, in the terminology of kennel clubs, the sporting group. These are dogs that work in tandem with hunters who use firearms, and traditionally, their work is divided into three main roles: searching for birds, flushing them into the air, and retrieving shot game. Different breeds often specialize in one of these tasks, although some, called versatile hunting dogs, can perform all three tasks. The classic triad of roles for gun dogs is usually briefly described as point, flush, retrieve. Pointers and setters, detectives. These breeds find birds by smell and freeze in place, pointing to their location, usually taking a tense, motionless pose, often with a dramatically raised front paw. The dog literally indicates to the hunter the precise location where quail, pheasants, or grouse are concealed. This behavior is predominantly instinctive. Good pointers assume a beautiful statue-like stance the moment they catch a bird's scent. It's as if they're saying, "They're right here, master." Then the hunter approaches to flush the bird for a shot. Pointers and setters usually work ahead of the hunter, sweeping the field in a zigzag pattern until they smell game. When the pointer suddenly freezes, tail extended, nose pointed towards the bushes. Get ready, the birds are most likely there. Why do they freeze? This is a hereditary trait. By stopping and pointing, they avoid prematurely scaring away game and give the person a chance to get closer and prepare. The term setter comes from an old practice where dogs would sit or crouch upon finding birds, allowing a net to be thrown over the prey. Modern setters now stand upright, but the principle remains the same. Common breeds of pointers. The English pointer is a star with an exceptionally keen nose and stylish stance. Setters: English setter, Irish setter, Gordon setter. Elegant dogs, also pointers for birds. The English setter is poetically called the gentleman's hunting dog. Continental breeds: the Kurzhaar, also known as the German short-haired pointer, the Drahthaar, or German wire-haired pointer, the Brittany, the Hungarian Vizsla, and the Weimaraner. All of these are considered pointers. Every breed has its own style, but the essence is the same. They locate the bird and steadfastly hold their position, often until the hunter gives the command to flush. To observe the work of a good pointer is truly a spectacle. They are like a living weather vane, fixed on the scent. If you've seen paintings of bird hunting in the 19th century, they usually depict a dog in a pointing stance. This is classic. Flushing dogs, instigators. These dogs have a more energetic task, to burst into cover and flush birds into flight. They typically operate quite close to the hunter, within 30 to 60 feet, that is, within shooting range, scenting birds in dense grass or thick bushes. Upon finding game, they don't point, but flush the bird, sending it into the air, after which the hunter shoots at the flying target. A good flushing dog then remembers the spot where the bird fell, and often retrieves it, or at least helps to find it. Many flushers by nature are also retrievers. Spaniels are classic flushing dogs. For example, English Springer and Cocker Spaniels are known for working ahead of the hunter, happily wagging their tails, nose to the ground, zigzagging through the terrain, and flushing birds into the air. They have an inexhaustible enthusiasm, and they'll plunge into thorny bushes and water, anywhere game might be hiding. The crucial point with flushing dogs is that they must remain within shotgun range. If a dog runs too far, it will flush the bird too far away for a shot. Well-trained flushing dogs will periodically return or work in tight zigzags to flush game at a comfortable shooting distance. If you hunt without a dog, many birds will prefer to stay hidden in cover and simply let the hunter pass by. A startling dog says no and makes them fly away. Example of a scene. You are walking through a field with pheasants and you see your spaniel suddenly becoming excited. Zigzags intensify. The nose is actively working, and suddenly a pheasant takes off from underfoot with a loud flapping of wings. This is a spaniel's work. Some hunters attach bells or tracking devices to their dogs to follow them through dense undergrowth. If the sound of the bell ceases, it often indicates the dog has picked up a scent and frozen or moved out of range, which is not good. Beyond spaniels, Labrador retrievers are also considered flushing dogs, especially for waterfowl and upland game. Labradors are capable of working as flushers, for instance, by plunging into dense reeds to rouse ducks. Other breeds, such as the Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever, can also effectively flush game, but generally, a flushing dog is synonymous with a spaniel. These dogs are energetic, full of life, and often make wonderful family pets. Ask any cocker or springer owner. One caveat: they might just turn all that energy on your garden birds, simply for the fun of it. Give them the right workload, and they will channel their enthusiasm into work. Retrieving dogs. As the name suggests, retrievers are experts in finding shot game and delivering it to the hunter carefully and undamaged. They have soft mouths. They carry birds without clenching their teeth or damaging the meat. This is a developed trait. Good retrievers can pick up an egg and carry it without crushing it. So, the hunting legend goes, retrievers usually have water-repellent coats, they love to swim, and possess an excellent sense of smell to find game in thickets or water. When hunting waterfowl, after a shot, you send your retriever with a fetch command or a gesture. It jumps into the water, swims, finds the fallen bird, sometimes hundreds of yards away, and returns, holding it gently. On land, they push through bushes or tall grass to find a shot pheasant that the hunter alone might not have found. Let's talk about classic retriever breeds. The Labrador Retriever is truly an icon of the genre, a highly popular breed in many countries, because beyond their excellent hunting qualities, these dogs are incredibly friendly and easily trainable companions. Golden Retriever and Chesapeake Bay Retriever are also classics. Goldens with their long fur and gentle nature, Chesapeake Bay are more hardy and legendarily strong. They were bred to retrieve ducks in the icy waters of the Chesapeake Bay with tides and waves. Other retrievers include the flat-coated retriever, the curly-coated retriever, and others. But Labradors and Goldens dominate. The distinctive behavior of retrievers. Marking. A good retriever will follow the falling birds, mark their locations, and remember exactly where they landed. Some well-trained dogs can actually remember 3 or even 4 falls, and then, on command, retrieve each one in the correct order. It's like having a 4-legged assistant who clearly saw where everything dropped and can then collect all the game. Working with gestures and whistles, many waterfowl hunters train dogs to follow directions if they did not see the fall. For example, a whistle stops the dog and hand gestures indicate where to go, left or right towards the unseen bird.
Sit.
Retrievers are useful not only in water, they are indispensable in field hunting for finding game. Therefore, many spaniels and pointers are trained to retrieve or have innate abilities for it. But retrievers are specialists. As household pets, retrievers are usually friendly, obedient, and obsessed with playing fetch. If you have a Labrador, your arm will always be toned. They also love water. Don't be surprised if your Golden dives into every stream, pool, or even puddle. It's in their nature. Universal HPR dogs, all in one. Many European breeds were specifically developed for multiple purposes. They can search, point, and retrieve game so that a single dog can replace several. In North America, they are often referred to as versatile hunting dogs. The idea is that one dog goes into the field, searches for game, makes a point, or otherwise indicates its location, retrieves it after the shot on land or water, and can also track a wounded animal by its blood trail. These dogs may not have such a narrow specialization, like an English pointer with its perfect point, or a Labrador with its outstanding retriever qualities, but they are very good at everything and extremely practical for hunters who want one dog for all tasks. Examples of versatile breeds: the German Shorthaired Pointer, the benchmark of a truly versatile hunting dog. It excels at pointing, swimming, and tracking wounded game. Drahthaar, the German wire-haired pointer, the Weimaraner, the Brittany, the Hungarian Vizsla, the wire-haired pointing griffon, and the large Munsterlander. They are all versatile hunting dogs. The German term Wurstehund and Drahthaar for the wire-haired type emphasizes exactly this versatility. The Navy HDA Association even conducts tests, defining a versatile dog as one that reliably searches for and points out game, retrieves on land and water, and can also track a blood trail. An example: the German wire-haired pointer was bred with the philosophy: one dog should be able to hunt ducks in the swamp at dawn, point pheasants at noon, and track a wounded deer in the evening, and this goal was achieved. The Brittany Spaniel, now more often just Brittany, is another example. It has a setter-like stance, but is compact in size with excellent retriever qualities. The Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever is also a versatile breed. It decoys, flushes out, and retrieves game. Versatile dogs often require more extensive training to fully develop all their skills, but they are absolutely ideal for hunters who can only afford to own one dog, yet hunt a variety of different game. They are also excellent active family dogs. For example, Vizslas and Weimaraners are popular as pets, though their energy and need for mental stimulation can be a challenge. If you're hunting in Europe, it's highly probable your guide will have a versatile dog, such as a German short-haired pointer or a Slovakian wire-haired pointer, which in the morning will point for partridges, and in the afternoon will track roe deer. That's truly impressive. In the end, gun dogs are about teamwork with humans and firearms. They've been bred for centuries to be obedient, trainable, and eager to please, because coordination with the hunter is key. A sighthound might take off on instinct, but a good gun dog will hold until the command, "Fetch." Their temperament is usually cheerful and friendly. Spaniels and retrievers adore people, though some pointers can be more independent. If you're hunting birds, there's nothing better than working with a good gun dog. This takes the whole experience to a new level. Even if you don't hunt, many of these breeds excel in dog sports: agility, dog diving, field trials, even obedience. But a warning: a high-energy Springer Spaniel or a bored Vizsla without work might reorganize your home or dig up the yard out of excess enthusiasm. Give them an outlet, be it endless fetch or searching for hidden objects by scent, and they will be the happiest animals on the planet because they are doing what they were born to do. Water dogs and tollers, decoy dogs. Not all hunting dogs clearly fit into the categories of hounds or gun dogs. Certain breeds have been specifically developed for highly specialized tasks involving water and retrieving waterfowl, often utilizing methods quite distinct from those of typical gun dogs. This category includes specialized water-loving retrievers and unique decoy dogs, specifically bred to lure ducks. If you're hunting for ducks or geese, or perhaps fishing, then these are the specialists for you: water dogs, water retrievers. These dogs literally feel at home in the water. Usually they have thick, often curly, or water-repellent coats, and sometimes even slightly webbed paws. All these features are for better swimming. Their historical tasks have varied. Some were employed by fishermen for retrieving nets, fishing lines, or lost gear, for driving fish into nets, and even as messengers between their boats. That's quite true. Others were specifically bred to fetch waterfowl from icy marshes and lakes. One notable example is the Portuguese water dog. Along the Portuguese coastline, these dogs would leap overboard to recover torn fishing nets, transmit messages from boat to boat, and even help herd fish into the nets. They are excellent swimmers and can even dive. Portuguese water dogs have curly, non-shedding fur that insulates them. And traditionally, they were clipped like a lion with a shaved hind part to facilitate movement in the water, while keeping their chest and head warm. Another example is the Barbet, a French water dog, known to exist since at least the 16th century. It was used for retrieving and fetching waterfowl from marshy areas. Barbet have shaggy, curly coats, and they love swamps. The word Barbet is related to barbe, meaning beard. Their muzzles are often covered in mud after working. Another water dog is the Irish Water Spaniel with dense curls and a rat tail, bred to retrieve ducks from cold Irish bogs. The American Water Spaniel is the official state dog of Wisconsin. It is a smaller-sized, curly-coated spaniel specifically developed for the Great Lakes region. And of course, we can't forget retrievers. Chesapeake Bay, Labradors, Goldens. They're also wonderful water dogs. But water dogs as a class usually refers to those old European breeds, specifically bred for water tasks, beyond just typical retrieving. They are working specialists at heart. Common characteristics of water dogs: excellent swimmers, unafraid of cold and marshy terrain, usually intelligent and easily trainable. Fishermen needed dogs capable of performing complex tasks on boats. Often medium-sized, sturdy, and a little eccentric. For instance, Portuguese water dogs are well known for being clever clowns. As pets, they require plenty of physical exercise and engaging activities. A bored water dog might decide that your garden pool, or even the sprinkler, is its exciting new project. But give them a pond and a retrieving dummy, and they will entertain both themselves and you endlessly. That's their nature. Fun fact, several Portuguese water dogs became famous working for the President of the United States of America. Bo and Sonny were the Obama family's dogs. Although they mostly brought tennis balls instead of fishing nets, it highlighted their affectionate and energetic nature. Decoy dogs, tolling retrievers. And now, something truly inventive. Dogs that lure waterfowl into shooting range. The idea came from observing foxes. Hunters have observed that ducks and geese may be drawn by their curiosity to a fox playing or running along the shore. It is believed that the flicking of the fox's tail and playful jumps awaken curiosity in the birds without causing immediate alarm, luring them closer to the shore. People thought, we can use this and bred tolling dogs. The word tolling comes from the old meaning of luring. The most famous tolling breed is right in the name, the Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever. Tollers, as they are called, are medium-sized retrievers, typically with reddish fur and white markings, very similar to a fox. Here's how the toller works. The hunter takes cover near the water's edge, then throws a stick or a small ball along the bank. The excited toller runs, jumps, and plays in plain sight of the ducks on the water. To the ducks, this reddish animal looks like a fox, busy eating or playing. And their natural curiosity often takes over. The ducks are steadily swimming closer and closer to the bank. The moment they come within effective firing range, the hunter quickly rises, takes aim, and fires, and the toller instantly switches into retriever mode, leaping into the water for the fallen game bird. It's a two-part performance. First, to entice the ducks with a, "Hey, look at me," then to retrieve the game with an "and now" to work. The Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever breed was developed in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia during the 19th century, specifically for this very task. Tollers are the smallest of all retriever breeds, but they are very energetic and intelligent, and they have a surprisingly loud, shrill bark when they get excited. Toller owners are very familiar with that distinctive Toller yelp. There's also an older European concept of decoy dogs, specifically those used in artificial duck traps. For example, the Cougar Hounds, a small orange and white spaniel type dog. In the Netherlands, hunters built pond systems with narrow canals covered with nets. The Cougar Hounds would run along the edges of these canals, wagging its white tail to attract the attention of ducks and lure them into the trap. The word decoy itself comes from the Dutch decoy, meaning cage or trap. Thus, the concept of hunting linguistics became established. Apart from Tollers and Cougar Hounds, there are hardly any other breeds specifically bred for tolling. These dogs are also excellent family pets. Tollers are affectionate and slightly less hyperactive than Labradors, but still very energetic. And Cougar Hounds are friendly and highly trainable. In short, water dogs and tolling retrievers demonstrate human ingenuity in dog hunting. We created some breeds for working in swamps, diving, swimming, fearless in cold water, while others literally play with prey instincts, sparking curiosity, like the Portuguese water dog retrieving nets or the Nova Scotia Toller performing for ducks. These breeds show just how diverse canine professions can be. Laikas, barking pointers, northern hunting spits. Heading to the far north, we meet the Laika and other northern hunting spitz-like breeds. Laika literally means barking dog in Russian. It's a fitting name, as these dogs hunt large and small game, finding it and then barking continuously to indicate its location or to keep the animal in place. Imagine them as a combination of the scent tracking ability of a hound, the pointing ability of a gun dog, and the bravery of a catch dog. All of this in a fluffy, curly-tailed, spitz-like body. Laikas are incredibly versatile hunters used throughout Russia and Scandinavia for everything from squirrels to moose and bears. How do they hunt? Laikas usually work off-leash, exploring the forest for game. For small tree animals, like capercaillies or squirrels, the Laika initially tracks them by scent, then chases them up a tree and, standing at its base, barks loudly and rhythmically, signaling to the hunter that it has cornered something here. The hunter can find the dog by its sound and move in to shoot the game. The dog stays smartly out of the line of fire, but watches the prey, often moving around the trunk if the squirrel shifts. When hunting large game, such as a moose or even a bear, a Laika, or perhaps a pair of Laikas, will actively pursue the animal and then engage with it, approaching and retreating, sometimes even biting, but mostly continuously barking to hold the animal's attention. A moose, for example, usually stands its ground instead of fleeing, especially a bull in rut or a cow with a calf. The Laika stays out of reach of hooves or paws, using agility and loud barking to distract the animal. This behavior is similar to baying, which we mentioned earlier, but Laikas often hunt alone or in very small groups, not in large packs. Hearing the noise, the hunter moves closer, using the bark as a sound beacon, and shoots when he is in range. In the dense northern forests, this particular method allows the hunter to get within 65 to 100 feet of a large animal, which otherwise he would never have been able to spot. This is a traditional technique in the taiga regions. Silence while the dog searches for game, then a sudden burst of barking to guide the hunter. Breed and examples. The term Laika actually refers to several breeds of Russian hunting spitz dogs. The primary breeds among them are the West Siberian Laika, the East Siberian Laika, the Russian European Laika, and the Karelian bear dog. In Finland and Russia, you can also find a smaller breed, the Karelian Finnish Laika, which is essentially a Finnish Spitz. The Norwegian Elkhound, a type of moose dog, is very similar in its overall style. A gray Spitz used for working with moose in Scandinavia. The practice of employing Spitz-type dogs to hold large game is common in northern countries. The Norwegian Elkhound and the Swedish Jämthund are well-known moose hunters, operating like Laikas, by circling and barking to distract the animal. The Karelian bear dog, as its name implies, is specifically utilized for hunting both bears and moose. They're smaller than you'd expect, about 44 to 51 pounds, but completely fearless and very loud for their size. Russian Laikas are versatile hunters. A popular saying goes that they hunt from mouse to bear. Truly, today they can tree a sable for its fur, and tomorrow hold a wild boar at bay, or flush a duck from the water for a clean shot. Here's a striking example. A hunter in Siberia, at the break of dawn, sets out with his West Siberian Laika. The dog ventures into a birch forest. Suddenly, in the distance, the hunter hears a rapid yo, yo, yo bark, a signal that a squirrel is in a tree. The hunter approaches, finds his dog standing on hind legs at the base of a pine, its fur bristling, barking at the top. A shot from the rifle. The squirrel tumbles. The dog brings it into her hands. Later the morning, the dog's behavior changes. Caught the scent of a wild boar. She follows the track and silently vanishes. A few minutes later, a bark and growl erupt from within the forest. The dog has found a wild boar and engaged it in a confrontation. The hunter rushes towards the commotion. He sees his Laika circling 16 feet from the dense thicket, barking furiously. The boar is nervous, makes a false lunge, but the Laika deftly dodges and keeps barking from the side, holding the animal in place. The hunter creeps within 100 feet, finds a good angle, and shoots. The boar falls, the dog rushes forward, but the hunt is over. Because the Laika served as both a beacon and a holding factor, this hunt was a success. This is almost a perfect day for a Laika. Why do they bark so much? In the dense northern forests, visibility is low. A hunter not see game at about 66 feet away because of the trees. The bark of a dog functions as a GPS marker. Its barking holds the attention of a bear on noise, preventing the animal from noticing an approaching human. Laika barking is their fundamental essence. This continuous barking is a deliberate and conscious hunting strategy. In Russia, this style of hunting is referred to as barking hunt. Western hounds give voice on the track, while these Spitz-like dogs bark more at the moment of the game discovery. They usually remain silent during the search. Many Laikas follow silently until the animal stops or climbs a tree, and only then do they start barking. Northern hunting Spitz dogs at home are often very intelligent, independent, and can be stubborn. They had to work out of the hunter's sight and make decisions on their own. Therefore, they are not always as obedient as, say, Labradors. They also often have a strong territorial or protective instinct. Many of them served as versatile farm dogs in the north, and yes, they love to use their voice. If they are bored, they might bark or howl. Some howl like wolves, just for fun, or to warn you about every squirrel in the yard. So, they are not the best dogs for an apartment. However, they are usually very loyal to the owner and the family, becoming strongly attached. In appearance and behavior, they are somewhere between a sled dog and a hound. Energetic, they need a lot of exercise and have a strong hunting instinct. One more thing, due to their primitive nature, some Laikas can be aggressive towards other dogs, especially of the same sex. They weren't always bred to work in large packs, unlike, for example, foxhounds, so they can be quite quarrelsome. Early socialization is important if you keep them as companions. All breeds in this category have a typical Spitz appearance: sharp ears, wedge-shaped head, curled tail, thick fur. If you see one, you might think it's just a sled dog or a mix with a husky. When in the forest, they shift into hunting mode. In essence, Laikas and their Spitz-like relatives are northern hunters, dependent on loud barking to indicate game to a person. They embody a partnership where the dog moves freely, yet keeps the hunter informed through its vocalizations. Hunting with a Laika is an exhilarating experience. The opportunity presents itself. Imagine walking towards the barking through a snow-covered forest, heart quickening, never knowing if at the trail's end, you'll discover a capercaillie or a 900-pound moose. And if you decide to get a Laika as a pet, be prepared for its DNA to compel it to bark at creatures it spots. After all, this is precisely what fed their ancestors. As one hunter once put it, with a Laika, the forest is never truly silent, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Earth dogs, terriers, and dachshunds. Now, let's turn to the small but brave earth dogs. These are terriers and dachshunds, bred to enter underground burrows and lairs, pursuing fur-bearing animals. Foxes, badgers, marmots, rabbits, or nutria. The work is as harsh as it sounds: dark, narrow tunnels, encountering the sharp teeth of wild animals in their territory. This requires special courage and a specific physique. Den dogs are usually small, sturdy, flexible, and never seem to tire. What do? In traditional fox or badger hunting in old Europe, hunters would send a small dog into the animal's den. The dog's job was to drive the animal out, making it bolt to the surface into a net, or to the waiting hunters, to hold it in the burrow, barking and sometimes biting, until people could dig to the spot and retrieve the dog and quarry. In any case, a good earth dog was supposed to back down. A fox or badger, cornered in a tight burrow, would fight back fiercely. That's why these dogs were bred to be combative, tolerant of pain, and incredibly tenacious. They also have physical advantages: short legs for moving in burrows, a strong elongated body, and powerful front legs for digging, often accompanied by strong jaws to catch or kill prey if necessary. Additionally, they usually have a loud, piercing bark or bay, so that a hunter can locate them underground by sound. Imagine the dog has gone 10 feet into a winding tunnel. It's not visible, but you can hear a muffled roar indicating where to dig. Hunters used to use this sound as a beacon, similar to how a Laika leads the hunter through the forest, but underground. Breeds. The most famous den dogs are the working terriers of Britain and Europe. These include fox terriers, smooth and wire-haired, Jack Russell terriers, Parson Russell terriers, a slightly more compact version, border terriers, Lakeland terriers, Patterdale terriers, hardy working terriers from northern England, and others. Typically, their height does not exceed 15 inches. Their size was suited to the prey they hunted. For example, a Jack Russell is small enough to get into a fox's den. The word terrier derives from the Latin terra, meaning earth, reflecting their purpose working underground. Another major group of burrowing dogs is Dachshunds. The standard Dachshund was bred in Germany for hunting badgers. Dachshund literally means badger dog. They have long bodies and flipper-like front paws, perfect for digging. Dachshunds were fearless underground fighters. A badger is fierce, but a pair of Dachshunds could handle it. They were also used for hunting foxes and rabbits, and the miniature Dachshund was bred to pursue rabbits in burrows. So yes, this cute Dachshund in a sweater is a descendant of fierce hunters. This is an example scene. An English farm in the 19th century. A fox from a burrow on the hillside snatches hens. One morning, the farmer and his assistant bring their wire-haired fox terrier to the entrance of the burrow. A fresh scent fills the air. The terrier trembles with excitement. They live for moments like these. "Go, my boy!" The dog vanishes into the dark burrow. The hunters hunker down nearby, waiting. From underground, growling and scratching sounds emerge. A minute passes, and suddenly the fox bursts from the exit. The hunter's shouting. The fox gets caught in a net, or is put down with a single shot. The terrier then emerges, dirty, perhaps with a proud scar upon its muzzle, but beaming with victory. Sometimes the fox decides to hold its ground in a dead end and fight. Then the terrier starts barking, joining the fray. The hunters dig in the direction of the sound. Once they reach the spot, they pull out the dog, and the animal is removed with tongs or killed. This is a typical working day for a burrowing team. The essential qualities required for this task are fearlessness and persistence. A timid or overly gentle dog isn't suitable for this kind of work. That's why terriers are often described as, well, stubborn little devils. But it was this persistence that saved their lives underground and saw the job through. In continental Europe, Dachshunds, often wire-haired, and terriers, for example, the Jagd Terrier, a black and tan terrier bred in Germany for hunting, are used similarly, for working in fox dens or wild boar thickets. The Jagd Terrier is particularly famous for its tough temperament. It can work underground and chase boars. It is a versatile and tough hunting dog, not for the faint-hearted or inexperienced owners. Even today, there are trials for burrowing dogs, especially in the United States and United Kingdom, to test their instincts in safe conditions. Usually, these are artificial tunnels with a cage and a rat at the end. The dog smells and hears the rat, but cannot reach it. Time is recorded for the dog to reach the prey and start working, barking, digging. These trials are held for entertainment and in memory of the breed's hunting past. Character. Earth dog breeds, especially terriers, are often described as fiery, independent, energetic, and fearless. They had to work underground, so they tend to think independently and don't always wait for instructions. This can make their training a unique negotiation process. They are intelligent, sometimes too smart, and strong-willed. They also possess a hunting instinct, so small pets like hamsters are not the best companions for them. On the other hand, their big dog and a small body personality wins over people. A Jack Russell will act as if it's enormous and invincible, which is amusing when it's chasing a Great Dane in the park or trying to scare off the neighbor's Rottweiler on the sidewalk. Early socialization helps, but it's impossible to curb that terrier spirit. Dachshunds are also brave and sometimes feisty. Standard dachshunds retain their keen hunting sense of smell and are able to follow a trail. They are utilized to locate injured deer. In a way, they are like a hound in a terrier's body. And yes, they bark. This loud barking was a necessity for their work, so it's in their blood. A dachshund's bark can sound as though it's coming from a larger dog, surprising those who don't see the small sausage dog behind it. Ultimately, we're talking about small earth dogs, which are little packages of immense courage. They earned their reputation by fighting in the darkness where others would not have dared to go. To a fox or a badger, a terrier bursting into a burrow seemed a demon, loud, and unwilling to retreat a step. As hunters, these dogs were indispensable for controlling pests and flushing game for the shot. As modern companions, they still retain their fighting spirit. They no longer need to battle badgers, but they'll happily engage a vacuum cleaner in a fight, or disarm squeaky toys. It's their instinct, the extermination of rodents, now just removing the squeaker from a plush toy rabbit. If you're looking for a calm, obedient companion, perhaps you should consider a different breed. But if you like lively, spirited friends who might bring you a gift from the garden, alive just moments ago, then a digging dog is your option. You must give their energy an outlet, provide challenges and games, otherwise your garden could turn into a minefield, and your terrier will emerge from a hole with a satisfied look, as if to say, "Look how I've tilled the lawn." Blood tracking dogs, searching for wounded game. Our final category is dedicated to the most crucial part of ethical hunting, the recovery of game that has been shot but not found. Meet the blood-trailing dogs, also known as wounded game recovery dogs or leashed hounds. These dogs specialize in tracking the faint scent trail of a wounded animal, often just by tiny drops of blood or the scent of interdigital glands over long distances, to lead the hunter to game that otherwise could have been lost. In many cases, such tracking takes place hours after the shot, and on a long leash to control the dog and keep it on task. This job requires an excellent sense of smell, focused persistence, and a calm demeanor. It's nothing like a hot chase after a fox or a bird being flushed by a gun dog. These dogs, like detectives of the hunting world, whose mission is to unravel the challenging mystery of a wounded deer that didn't drop dead on the spot. Why are they needed? Despite the hunter's efforts, sometimes the game, especially animals like a deer, a bear, or a wild boar, will escape after being shot. The resulting blood trail might be barely visible, or it could be entirely absent, depending on the precise location of the shot's impact. People are quite poor at tracking a wounded animal for more than a few hundred yards, particularly if the blood dries up or the animal begins to circle. A well-trained tracking dog can effectively use its nose to follow blood trails, or even the stress scent left by the wounded animal's tracks. They are able to distinguish the scent of a particular individual among all the other smells of the wild. This can make the difference between finding the prey or leaving it to suffer, which is not only a moral issue but also a waste of resources. In many European countries, access to tracking dogs when hunting big game is mandatory to ensure the retrieval of wounded animals. Breeds. Classic blood tracking dogs include certain hound breeds developed specifically for this task. Two prime examples are the Bavarian Mountain Hound and the Hanoverian Hound. These German breeds were developed from older leash hounds, specifically for the highly effective tracking of wounded game, often in challenging mountainous terrain. The Bavarian Mountain Hound, also known as the Bavarian Bloodhound, was bred by crossing Hanoverian hounds with lighter alpine hounds. This was done to produce a smaller, more agile dog, perfectly suited for the rugged environment of the Bavarian Alps. Bavarian hounds are medium-sized, approximately 20 inches at the shoulder, typically reddish-brown in color, often with a black mask. They are renowned for their calm, devoted temperament when tracking a scent. Indeed, the Bavarian Mountain Hound is frequently referred to as a specialist in locating wounded game, as this is considered its primary purpose. They pick up a scent trail 24 hours old and never lose it. The Hanoverian Scent Hound is a larger breed, descended from the ancient Liemier hounds. It is an exceptional tracker, employed in dense forests for locating red deer and wild boar. Both these breeds possess an incredible sense of smell, and a temperament that allows them to methodically work even a very cold trail. Other breeds are utilized for the task of blood tracking. Wire-haired Dachshunds, known as Teckles, are popular throughout Europe for finding wounded deer. Their small stature can be deceptive. They possess an excellent sense of smell, and they will slowly but surely follow the blood trail. Their close proximity to the ground, it is often said, helps them to better concentrate on the scent trail. Beagles and Basset Hounds are sometimes utilized in a similar manner. They're short-legged scent hounds. In the United States, many trackers use bloodhounds, hence the term blood tracking. Interestingly, the name bloodhound does not come from blood trail, but from blooded hound, meaning purebred hound. Bloodhounds can track people from a week-old trail, so they do excellent with fresh deer trails. Indeed, managing a 120-pound hound on a leash in the thickets is quite a pleasure. Some use mixes, for example, a bloodhound and a blue tick, or other mixes. The main thing is for the dog to have an excellent nose and obedience. In continental Europe, different breeds from the Jagdgebrauchshund system can be certified for blood tracking. This includes versatile dogs like Drahthaars, Hungarian Vizslas, and Weimaraners. There is even a profession called Revierjäger, specialists and guides who focus exclusively on finding wounded game for other hunters. How is the search conducted? Let's imagine a hunter shot a wild boar at dusk, and the animal disappeared into undergrowth. The hunter discovers blood at impact point, but the trail is lost. The next morning, he calls for a guide and his dog. The guide brings his Bavarian mountain hound, attaches a 20-foot tracking leash to her so the dog can pull comfortably, and leads her to the spot where the shot was fired. She lets the dog sniff the track of a boar's hoof to familiarize it with the scent, or blood on the ground, and gives the command, for example, such verwundt, search for the wounded. The hound drops its nose and begins to work, moving slowly, almost in zigzags, to locate the trail. As soon as it catches the scent, the dog pulls ahead, and the handler follows closely, interpreting its behavior. This is reminiscent of fly fishing. The handler allows the dog freedom, then restrains it if it deviates or needs to return. They can travel hundreds of yards without any visible blood traces to the human eye, but sometimes the tracker spots a tiny drop on a leaf, confirmation that the dog is on the right path. A well-trained dog may change its behavior when game is near. Some start to get agitated or even vocalize if they see a live animal. In the best-case scenario, they find an animal already deceased, perhaps half a mile away from the shot location, in such dense thickets where a lone hunter would never venture. If the animal is still alive, depending on local laws, the guide may be obligated to call off the dog and retreat, or humanely dispatch the animal if legally permitted. In Germany, guides carry short-barreled firearms for such situations, as they assist in fulfilling game tracking requirements. In the United States, the hunter accompanies the guide and, if necessary, dispatches the animal. This is true for archers searching for deer. An important feature: tracking dogs must be composed and not get distracted by healthy game crossing their path. Imagine, a dog is following the trail of an injured deer, and then a fresh, healthy deer crosses the road. Many dogs would think, "Oh, a new trail, let's chase it." A trained bloodhound can distinguish a specific trail it follows. Some believe that the scent of interdigital glands combined with blood creates a unique signature of the wounded animal. In tests, judges sometimes deliberately lay intersecting tracks or scatter deer droppings to see if the dog will remain true to its trail. That's impressive. Dogs usually work quite slowly, and that's a good thing because you don't want them rushing ahead and missing any turns. The guide's motto is, trust your dog. They have many stories about times they doubted their dog, and then it turned out the dog had chosen a clever shortcut, or was right from the very beginning. Other breeds that might look for wounded animals. Honestly, any dog with a good nose and training can do this. Some hunters train their hounds or even retrievers to track a blood trail on a leash after hunting. In Europe, they prefer specialized breeds, but in the United States, you can see Labradors, Dachshunds, Beagles, Curs, and even mixed breeds doing this job. One of the popular choices in the United States today is the wire-haired Dachshund, compact enough for living in a house, with an excellent nose, not requiring much space for walking. They may not be as fast as large hounds, but speed is not needed on a leash. Moreover, they handle heat better than some large hounds, which is important for hunting at the beginning of bow season. Character. Blood-tracking dogs, such as Bavarian and Hanoverian hounds, are often described as calm, balanced, and very attached to their handler, family. They're not as openly friendly or outgoing as Labradors. They can be reserved with strangers, but are exceptionally loyal at home. This is logical. They need to concentrate on a single task and work closely with one person. For instance, Bavarian mountain hounds are known to be affectionate and good with children in the home, but can be reserved with outsiders. They are not hyperactive. They conserve their energy for their work. You will rarely see them running around the house, but when a search collar is placed upon them, they become engaged. It is time to work. The conclusion. Blood-trailing dogs are the search and rescue teams of the hunting world. They ensure that a mortally wounded animal is found as quickly as possible, reducing suffering and unnecessary loss. They primarily use their nose, but also require training and guidance from their handler. It's a beautiful example of human-canine cooperation. For a handler, there's nothing more satisfying than trusting their dog, following it, and seeing it find an animal that was thought to be lost. When a good tracking dog is at work, it seems almost like magic, and dogs seem genuinely proud, wagging their tails when praised for their success. You could say these dogs turn hunters into true conservationists, because they help ensure no animal is taken in vain. This role is gaining increasingly significant recognition, so whether it's a sleek Bavarian mountain hound, expertly tracking a mile-long trail of a noble red deer, or a little dachshund, stubbornly baying at a wounded deer beneath a thick pile of brushwood, these dogs remain the unsung heroes working behind the scenes. They don't possess the glamour of a gun dog making a point on a pheasant, or the excitement of a dog that catches a boar, but ask any hunter who found a trophy thanks to a bloodhound. He will tell you that this dog's nose was worth its weight in gold. Here are our 8 categories of hunting dogs, each a specialist or multi-specialist in their field. Scent hounds, those who sing upon the trail. Sight hounds, who pursue their prey in silence. Gun dogs, capable of performing many different tasks. Water dogs are retrievers and clever tollers. Laikas, marking game with loud barks. Den terriers, fighting underground. Blood-trailing dogs, ensuring wounded game are never lost. How to choose the right type for your needs. Now that we have gone through the classification, how to use this information if you are choosing a hunting companion or just an active pet with such qualities. Here are some recommendations. Matching the dog to the type of hunting and local laws. First, you must determine what game you'll be hunting and what is permitted in your region. Upland game includes pheasant, black grouse, and quail. Gun dogs include pointers and setters for searching and holding a point, and spaniels for flushing out birds. For waterfowl hunting, we have retrievers like Labradors, Chesapeakes, and Golden Retrievers, as well as other water dogs such as the American Water Spaniel and the Barbet. For pest control, targeting creatures like rats, foxes, and groundhogs, terriers, or dachshunds are often employed. Large game, wild boar. A team of hounds, plot hounds, carries, for locating and holding the game, as well as catch dogs, Dogo Argentino. But keep in mind, in many regions the use of catch dogs is prohibited, whereas hounds may be allowed. Tracking wounded game, deer, wild boar, blood-tracking dogs. Bavarian mountain hounds, Hanoverian scent hounds. Hunting hares or participating in coursing. Sight hounds. Small game in dense forests, squirrels, huskies, or tree hounds. Character and conditions of detention. A hunting dog is not just a working tool, but also your companion around the clock. Different types of dogs have completely different household habits. Scent hounds, such as beagles and coonhounds, are noisy. Their baying bark in the forest can turn into a nightly howl in the yard. They are prone to escaping, so a secure fence or a GPS collar is essential. Sighthounds, on the other hand, are quiet and clean indoors, but require regular, vigorous running. They should only be off-leash in a fenced area, otherwise they might bolt and chase after a rabbit. Gun dogs like Labradors and Spaniels are easily trained, but they require a lot of physical and mental stimulation. Without it, they might chew furniture or run around the house frantically. Terriers and Dachshunds are stubborn. They love to dig and bark, and often don't get along with small pets. A rabbit in the house is a bad idea. Laikas are independent, can be aggressive towards other dogs, and shed profusely. Scent hounds, like Bavarian hounds, are calm at home, but don't tolerate loneliness well. Training experience. Some breeds are easier to train than others. Newcomers should consider retrievers, spaniels, and gun dogs, as they tend to please their owners. Hounds and Laikas are stubborn and require patience. Terriers are unpredictable and are more like partners in mischief than obedient soldiers. If you need a family dog plus a hunter, consider Labradors or German Shorthair pointers. If the dog will live in a kennel and be used strictly for hunting, you can choose a specialized breed, such as a coonhound for night raccoon hunting. Versatility versus specialization. If you hunt a variety of game but can get only one dog, choose a versatile breed, such as a German wire-haired pointer. It can work on birds, follow blood trails, and hunt wild boar. However, if you specialize in one type of hunting, opt for a specialized dog, for ducks, a Labrador, for hares, a beagle, and for raccoons, a coonhound. Be prepared for nightly concerts. Final thoughts. Use this classification to understand what tasks your dog will perform, and choose a breed created for this work. The right choice is harmony. The dog lives in its element, and you enjoy hunting and admire its skill. As hunters often say, a truly good hunting dog is not merely one that is able to hunt, but rather the one without whom you simply cannot hunt effectively. When someone says hunting dog, they often mean a generic hunting dog. You now understand how superficial that perspective is. A Greyhound and a Dachshund are both classified as hunting breeds, yet they could never replace one another. The relationship between a hunter and their dog is a partnership, tested and proven over many centuries. These dogs are not just tools, but loyal companions, always ready to work in any conditions for praise and the thrill of the hunt. In the comments, please share your stories about your hunting dogs. I would be very interested to read them. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. You'll find it interesting with us.